now at a hotel, but I am coming to you live today on this Telesales Tuesday. So good stuff, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here. So I'm going to go over how you can write 20,000 AP in 1 week, 100% over the phone. Okay, so we're going to start on commitment and then go to equipment and then training and then scheduling and then leads and some softwares that you'll need. And really what I would do, now I'm in more of the agency building aspect of it. I teach people how to do this stuff, but what I would do if I was to just get on the phone tomorrow and I was like, hey, I have to hit 10,000 AP tomorrow. Okay, I got to hit 20,000 AP this week. Okay, so this is what I would do. Also, sorry for the lack of quality. I don't have my external camera, so I'm using the little camera on my computer monitor here, but I think the more important thing is the audio. So please, please, please let me know if anything comes up that's wrong with that. So this is what I have seen other people do who have hit this AP in a week, and this is what I would recommend everybody to do. Now, if you look at my most recent video that I posted on Monday, we have a woman that works with us here at Senior Life Services named Jennifer Walker. She did 24,856, I think it was, in a week. She did it face-to-face. She has agents, and we have agents that have done 20K in a week over the phone, so I'm going to go through that here. So first thing you got to do is you got to commit. Okay, you cannot do this working a 9 to 5 schedule, 9 to 4 type schedule, 8 to 4, whatever it is. So if you can't commit to a 9 to 8 Monday through Saturday schedule up front, then I just want to let you know that you're probably not going to hit 20K unless you're extremely talented. Okay, so you can do it. It can be done. But I'm trying to give everybody the best chances here of doing it. So what I'm going to tell you is that if you want to hit 20,000 over the phone, then you have to be able to work 9 to 8. All the way through. Like I'm talking like no hour lunch breaks, like none of that stuff. Like you got to be completely trimming the fat out of the day, just cranking calls all through the day, and maybe even some on Sunday to hit this goal. Okay. Now, from doing this, your skill is going to increase drastically so that maybe you don't have to put that type of crazy activity in for you to hit 20,000. But up front, listen, it's something that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to put that in. And you're going to have to buy or generate a lot of leads. Now, this is not a lead pitch to you, but it goes without saying that you have to have a lot of people to call in order to sell a lot of policies. I mean, it kind of just makes sense, right? Like, how are you going to make X amount of sales if you only have X amount of leads, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to use the national average here for final expense AP. So we'll say like about $70 a month, right? Does that make sense to you guys? About $70 a month. So we'll say, well, let's say $60 a month on average. So 60, 70. We have about $70 average here. So 70 times 12, 840. So if we do 20,000 AP divided by 840, that means you're going to have like 20 something sales. You want to look at it as like, I want to have 20 something sales. Okay. So if you want to have, say, 24 sales is what it comes to, then you have to say, how many presentations does it take for me to get a sale? Okay, so let's be conservative here. Let's say it takes you 4 to 5 presentations to make a sale. If you got some skill coming into this, let's just say 5 and be conservative. It's going to take you 120 presentations in a week divided by 6. You're going to want to have like 20 presentations a day. Okay, I would shoot for 15 to 20 different presentations every single day. So what's this mean? You're going to have to hone in on your script, and you're going to have to get right to it, and you're going to have to be really good at getting people to stay on the phone with you. Okay, so you want to shoot for 15 to 20 presentations every single day. Guys, it's a numbers game. You got to work backwards from it. So 15 to 20 presentations every day. I would shoot for 20 because you may end up falling short, and if you have more than that, then that's great. Because listen, we're being conservative here. So we're saying you're only going to close 1 out of 5 of your sales. You're only going to close 1 out of 5. If you close 1 out of 3, then you're only going to need like 70 something presentations. So it totally depends on your skill level and how good you are at your script and how good you are at the greeting, asking the right questions, presenting the product to build value, quoting, being assumptive, handling objections, underwriting properly so that you get approvals the first time around or the second time around if you have to pivot, and your follow-up. Okay, so you have to have your follow-up game strong too, meaning if you can't close the sale right there, the next day you're going to want to push because that massive activity one day is going to translate to sales, even if you don't get a ton of sales that one single day. Okay, so you have to have that amount of presentations. So say we're shooting for 20 presentations a day. We're going to be extremely conservative here and overshoot everything that we're going to need. Okay, that's how you have to do it. Because if you're just basing it on what you need, then it's like if you're in a powerlifting competition and you're like, I want to lift 500 pounds, so I'm going to train for 500. No, you train to lift like 600 so that when you go in, 500 goes up easy. Okay, so you got to hit. We're going to shoot for 20. Say we're shooting for 15 to 20 presentations every day. How many leads is that going to take? Okay, so you're going to have to figure out, hey, how many leads am I going to have to do that? Now, for 15 to 20 presentations a day, I would be making at least 300 to 400 calls every single day. I would be making like 400 calls every single day, calling all day from 9 to 8. Now, the thing is, you want to have a ton of leads. Okay, obviously you're going to have a ton of leads, and when you go through these, you're not just going to call them once. So you may not need to have as many leads as you think, but you want to have a lot of leads. So if you're working on a budget and you're doing this on a budget, you're going to have to get a lot of aged leads, and you're going to have to make a ton of calls. There are different types of aged leads. I don't sell leads, but I can hook you up with people who do. I can hook you up to get really cheap aged Facebook leads and aged internet leads, and it's going to take a lot of calls, and that your skill level is going to have to be down. Or you can check out my videos on how to make your own final expense Facebook ads and YouTube ads. I would have those pushed to a landing page, and then on the landing page have a click to call button where they can just click to call you, so that you can have inbound calls coming in and capture the lead and follow up with them with automated text messages, as long as they opt in to receive those text messages on the landing page. So all that stuff is on my channel on how you can build that. So you're going to have, so if you're doing it yourself, if you're generating your own leads, you're going to have your ad campaign set up and rocking so that you can juice them and get those leads coming in. Now, you're going to be able to make more presentations doing that, but you're also going to want to have some leads to call outbound while you're waiting for those other leads to come in. So you're going to want to have a bunch of leads. Also, telemarketing leads are a great source of leads for outbound sales, for final expense telesales, because they're generated over the phone. These people answer the phone. People go online and go on Facebook and fill out a form. They don't necessarily want someone calling them. Neither does someone who's in the telemarketing space, but they're way more likely to answer the phone. Okay, now if you're getting leads, if you're running your own Facebook leads, you have to call them the second they fill out that lead form. It's like the second they fill out that lead form, you have to be calling them. Okay, now I would recommend, if you're getting, if you say you buy aged leads, I would recommend getting like, I don't even know, 1,000 aged leads. I would like anywhere from 500 to 1,000 aged leads, and then have your new lead campaigns going. So if I was doing it, this is what I would do. I would have some aged leads that I had purchased, whether they're aged telemarketing leads or or Facebook leads or internet leads. I would have them in a separate project on my CRM, and then I would be running my ads as well for the fresh leads to come in, so that while I'm waiting for those fresh leads to come in, I can be calling out to leads that are a little bit older, so that I'll be able to keep that contact up. Now, what are you going to need for equipment? You're going to need a computer, not one monitor. You cannot do this off a little small monitor. You're going to have to be very efficient, and you're going to have to be able to move around and maneuver. I have 3 monitors typically where I get set up in my office. You're going to have a good CRM. So a good CRM, I recommend VanillaSoft, because I know how to use it and I like it. It's expensive. You got to pay like $1,000, I think, to get it set up. You prepay 6 months. That's why it's $1,000. But there are definitely ones that are cheaper that are good. I just haven't really used them. So I know Ringy is good, Kixie, and then a buddy of mine has a CRM too that you can reach out to me and he can get you set up with. If anybody has any questions, email me at jve@thejve.com. Cool. So you're also going to want to have a wireless keyboard and a mouse and a hardwired internet connection. So you got to get plugged into the internet, because if you're talking over the phone on your computer, you need to be able to have a strong internet connection. You don't want to lose a client on a PHI, on a health interview. So guys, make sure that you're connected to a strong internet, and you have to have a CRM. Like you're not going to do this just dialing off your cell phone, okay, or hand dialing. Like you have to have a CRM so that you can click through and really maximize your contacts and just crank it out. Go High Level is a good CRM. I know a guy who has a Go High Level that's built out for this type of stuff, and you can reach out to me. I can hook you up with them. It's fine. Email me, jve@thejve.com. It's probably going to be cheaper than VanillaSoft, okay? Sales, training. So you're going to want to get, obviously, if you're going into this, if you've like never sold over the phone before and you're like, I want to hit 20,000 AP in a week, then you're probably not going to do it, honestly, because your skill level may not be as high for that. But you're definitely going to want to like practice on your sales. Like if you shoot for it 1 week and you don't get it, that doesn't mean you're not going to get it. But I promise, if you're consistent with this type of effort and activity, there is no way you are not going to be one of the absolute best final expense telesales monsters in the country, because you're working 9 to 8 every day. Like that's the commitment level that you're going to want to put in to do this type of thing. Everyone I know who hits monster numbers like that, they have massive activity on the phone. I'm talking like 7 hours of talk time every day, or 8 hours of talk time, which is like working 11 hours in the day, no cutting all the fat out of the day. Don't even get up for a lunch break. Like I wouldn't even do that. I would eat at my desk and just crank all the way through it. Okay. So like I said, you may not it, and your follow-up has to be huge too. So make sure you have a list of people that you follow up with every day who are really, really close to buying but aren't there yet. Okay. Multiple monitors, hardwired connection, computer, and a CRM. You got to do that. No off your cell phone. This is not going to work on your cell phone. Yes, you're going to have to invest some money. So if you don't have the money to invest in this stuff, it's okay, but I'm giving you an idea what you're going to have to get to and how much money you're going to have as cash flow in order to be able to do this and get this set up. Now, how much are you going to have to spend on leads a week? A couple $1,000s probably. If it comes down to it, you may spend a couple grand a week on leads to hit 20K AP. Like that's right. A buddy of mine who does it every week consistently spends about 2 to 3 thousand a week on leads every single week. Now, if you build up to that, then you're hitting 20K a week. You can easily afford the 2 to 3 thousand a week for leads or for lead gen or for running your own campaigns. Stuff for sales training, Cardone University. I also have a telesales course that you can reach out to me about. The point of this video is not to pitch you on my course, but 100% you want to, if it's something that you're interested in, reach out to me, let me know. It's cheap. And Cardone University is great. I love Cardone University. Jordan Belfort sales training. You're going to want to train every morning, and you're going to want to listen to your sales calls so that you can consistently get better. Okay. Schedule, get on the phone and make your first call by 9 a.m. or before. So the day before, you want to start booking appointments for people who you weren't able to close that day for before 9 a.m. so that you can legally call them beforehand and ahead of time, because you can legally start making outbound calls at 9 a.m. So, but if you have appointments preset beforehand, then you're good on that. Okay, make as many calls as you possibly can. Spend as much money as you can on ads and on your lead ads. Now, this is important because like you just have to have that inflow. I remember when I first started running ads for Final Expense on Facebook, I had a click to call. My phone was like buzzing. Like literally, I have videos in my thing on my my cell phone on my CRM. I had like 5 to 6 incoming calls at one point, all at the same time. And I only had me and a couple buddies that were selling, and like they really, really work. So I had to invest a lot for it, but it worked to generate a massive amount of cash flow. So for the type of leads, telemarketing leads, Facebook leads, if you're generating your own, I'd recommend, or age leads, if you're going to buy age leads to have a bunch to call out to. YouTube leads. Now, if you have Facebook and YouTube leads that come in, have a pre-made text message on your phone to text them if they don't answer when you call, because a lot of people have unknown call blockers. So on internet leads, you're going to run into it a lot where it just goes straight to voicemail. It's because they got that blocker on their phone, so you have to text them so that they can see your message. Make sure you use a good script. I can hook you up with that too. Yeah, this is the formula. You have to have skill and lead flow and work ethic. That's it. Skill plus lead flow plus work ethic. Right now, your most important availability, your most important ability is your availability. So you got to show up. You got to show up. You got to crank it out. And like that is what it is. You have to bang out calls all day long. And I know I'm going really fast on this, guy, so you may miss something, but I want you to, I'm going to take questions after this. I only have a limited amount of time today. And like you may not hit this your first week, but 100% you can make this happen for yourself. Like I was not good at sales when I got into it. I was terrible. Okay. I wasn't terrible when I got into insurance sales. I was terrible when I got into car sales. So for all you guys getting into sales right now for insurance, this is like the hardest thing to sell. Life insurance is the hardest thing to sell. Why? Because it's not real. Like it's not like an asset. Like you can't, like if I'm like, buy these nuts, right? Like you know what it is, okay? If I'm like, buy this cell phone stand, then you know it, then you can see it. Life insurance is just a concept. So we have to sell someone on a concept, a non-tangible item. And also, it's not something that people actually like really, really need to live, because their family is going to deal with all the crap when they die. So you're picking up a very challenging thing to sell, but I'm telling you, I promise you, you can make it happen. So it all boils down really to your activity, because if you don't do it the first week, the second week, the third week, then you're going to have a lot of production anyway, and you are going to just your skills going to get better over time. I was not always good at sales, but you can't train tall in basketball. It's a good saying, right? So if you're not willing to put in the work, you're not going to hit 20,000 AP. You're not. You're probably not even going to hit 10,000. You may have those lucky weeks where like you get a big sale here or there, or like, and then it puts you over the edge. But if you want to be consistent, you have to put in the effort. Okay. We got a guy here at SLS, a brand new agent, a kid, Nathan, brand new agent. He hit 15,000 AP his second week. Okay. 15,000 AP his second week. He had 37 hours of talk time in a week. That's more than most people like sit at the desk and work. That kid dialed for like 60 hours literally that week. He sat at his desk and dialed for like 60 to 70 hours, all like the whole week, and he had 37 hours of talk time. So 37 hours of talk time is not 37 hours at my desk. That's 37 hours of talking to people. Okay, so that's my email, jve@djve.com. How do you stay focused though? How do you stay focused? Now he is like, this is, so there's artificial and then there's internal. So me, I stay motivated through internally. I don't need to have these things like in my environment telling me to focus, because I get so fired up and focused on my goals that I just push and I make it happen. And it wasn't always that way for me. I had to develop that mindset. I had to build that muscle in my mind of being committed and pushing as hard as I can every single day and showing up no matter what. Like right now, I am at a hotel in Boston. I'm gonna go to a Red Sox game in about an hour and a half. Do I have to be doing this on a time when I would normally kind of be on vacation? No, I don't. But I am here because I'm committed to my goals. I'm committed to helping everybody on here succeed. I'm committed to providing like the best content there is on final expense on the entire platform for YouTube, because everybody wants to like charge for all this information. I just want to give it to people for free. So 55. So internally, like that keeps me driving, right? Yankees rule. Hey, whatever, man. What's your team? Um, so that my goals keep me driven. Now there's also an external thing that you can use. You can get a timer. Set a timer for 55 minutes. When it rings, set it for 5. Go up and take a little break. When it rings, you're back at your desk. Set it for 55. When it rings, take a little break. Set it for 5. Take a little break. When it rings, get back at your desk. So now that I went through that whole thing, I would like you guys to ask me any questions that you have about just anything that you've been through this week with telesales, with final expense sales. I've done face-to-face and door-to-door before. It's easier than telesales. So if you have questions for that too, then I can definitely help you with that. If you have any questions about like anything at all, like industry related or mindset related or marketing with lead generation or anything about any of my videos, what questions do you guys have for me? Type them in the chat. I don't know why this keeps. There we go. Okay, what's the standard conversion rate for FB leads or general per lead cost? So it depends how many states you run in. DG, it depends how many states you run in, and then it also depends how much you want to like, how like what your ad says. Okay, so there may be a little bit more like if you're a little bit more specific about exactly what the program is, then your lead cost is going to go up, but your cost per acquisition may go down. So conversion rate for Facebook leads, that's standard conversion rate. I mean, that's impossible to answer, and I know I get that all the time, and I've asked that before, but the reason why it's impossible to answer is because every agent is different, right? Like for me, I look at it as conversion rate for how many people I talk to. So one out of 3 people I talk to, I can close. Like 100%, 1 out of 3 presentations. That's what it's going to average to. I know my numbers. So for me, there, if I want 24 sales, I'm going to have to make 72 presentations, which means I'm going to have to make 12 presentations a day if I'm working 6 days a week. I just know that that's what it's going to end up with. Lead costs, I would look anywhere about four to six, $5 to $6, $4 to $7 per lead. It depends though, because sometimes, some days. So if you guys are running leads, and this is why, like, I see a lot of people do this for Facebook ads, is they'll like run leads and they'll be expensive and they'll get all paranoid, or they'll be cheap and then the price will go up and they got all paranoid about it. What happens there is that some days are more expensive to advertise than others. And it just is all about like who's bidding for the space on the page, because you're bidding for to be on a feed on someone's phone. So it all varies there. But I would say like anywhere from probably like 5 to 8, and someone can put in here what their lead cost is looking like now. And conversion rate, I look at it 1 out of 3 presentations if you're good, 1 out of 4 or 5 if you're kind of newer, or your skill set isn't there. What's my favorite product? American Amicable Final Expense is my favorite product. American Amicable's Final Expense product. There's my favorite carrier too. I had clients where I got to the app, but then at the end they came out, they have a POA. How do you avoid that? Okay, Carl asks, how do you avoid? So this goes with my script, okay, the script that I have. So the way that you avoid the POA is you ask them. I'll tell you exactly how I say it in my script here, and so this is one way that I like to flush out who the power of attorney, Bryant. So guys, POA doesn't actually have to be there for them to do the application. That does not have to be there for them to do the application, but you want to ask it like this, okay? So you're in the beginning, you're going to establish who their beneficiary is, okay? One of the first questions you ask after you get through the greeting and push through the resistance is, yeah, it doesn't mean they can. It means someone else. No. Actually, a POA can't even buy life insurance for someone. So that whole argument that they have is not really real. But this is what you say. So I'd say, hey, look, I strongly believe that life insurance is a tangible act of love towards someone else. It's one thing to say I love you, and it's another thing to actually do something that shows it. Does Johnny know that you're doing this for him? So then you say, does the beneficiary know that you're doing this for him or her? So does Johnny know you're doing this for him? Oh, yeah. No, he doesn't. Okay, great. Is he there? No. Okay, do we need to get him on the phone, or is this a decision you can make on your own? So if he says this is not a decision if she says yes, I can do it on my own. So he trusts your judgment is what you're saying, correct? Yes, awesome. I'm sure he's going to be proud of your decisions today if you can find something for him. Now let me ask you this. I know you make decisions for yourself when it comes to insurance, but do you also make financial decisions for yourself? Does anybody else manage your accounts or write the checks for you? Because it's very important to have that person involved in this decision as well. So guys, you want to ask that, okay? You ask that just like I said it there, and then right before you quote, you ask again, hey, just to make sure, Betty, you can make these decisions for yourself. You pay all your own bills and manage all your accounts and everything else, right? That way, they may forget that they told you in the beginning, but so you want to bring it up again. So if you're running into any objection, guys, what you want to do as you run through objections in your sales, you want to say, how can I get rid of that? How can I handle that beforehand? That way, when you run into it at the end and they tell you they got to talk to someone else, they just don't even have the right to do that, okay? Hope that answers that question. Lead generation. Yeah, so Facebook or YouTube ads to start. So I'm going to answer Baya's Legacy Group and Frank Barr. So lead generation, Facebook, YouTube ads. YouTube ads are a lot harder to do. You can watch my course on it. They're only harder to do because you have to have the video production down. So it's a longer process to actually like produce and make the video that you use to generate the leads. I have a whole walkthrough of how to do it, and I have one that's been successful, and I had a lot of success with the ads, but I would recommend starting out with Facebook just because you can get them up and running a lot faster, okay? But don't start in like day one, set your budget to like $500 a day, okay? Because they'll shut it down. They'll be like, yo, this is sketchy. So set a low spend and then just trickle it up over time. So this is something you're going to have to, work on here. So I'd work on Facebook at the beginning, but then get your YouTube set up because YouTube is a great source. What do I recommend for aged leads? So Bias Legacy, just email me, jbe@thejbe.com. I'll hook you up with a couple different people for that. There's a couple different lead types for lead sources for aged leads and different types of aged leads. So I can hook you up there. You get them pretty cheap, like $1 to $2 each for aged leads. So um, maybe like $1.50 to $2. Do you recommend texting aged leads? Manual. So if you manual text a lead, okay, you can, but that's a lot of time. So if you find a way to manually text a lead fast from your phone, then cool. Maybe you have like an iPad with iMessages that's hooked up to your data plan that you can just copy and paste something with a mouse, or if you have a Mac and it's hooked up to like your data plan. I don't know about if you can do SMS through your iMessages on like a Mac or an iPad. If you can do that, yeah, but I wouldn't really recommend text message blasting age leads either, because that's a way to get a TCPA complaint because they haven't opted in to get that from you. First week doing telesales, running my own ads. 2 policy holders Friday, 1 new app Monday, usually doing 3 to apps face to face. I feel I should be doing better than this without drive time. I think the script stinks. Kimberly, could be. Um, you gotta learn. You gotta learn what you're doing, and you're learning. Like I think that's really good. 2 policies Friday and 1 yesterday. Like I have people who say they're getting into telesales and they've never made a single sale ever, and they're really struggling. So email me and I'll send you my script there, and maybe it'll help. I don't know. Maybe it'll help you. But you want to work on your skill set. 3 to apps. I usually 3 to 8 apps. I don't know if you're doing 3 to 8 apps a day or 3 to 8 apps a week face to face. You're gonna so this is the thing I found with telesales. You have to spend more money to typically to get the same AP as you would face to face, but obviously you're not driving around and anything and everything. Meaning like if you spend X amount on leads for face to face, you may spend a little bit more telesales, but direct mail leads are getting really expensive. So how many farmed Facebook leads would you say is good per day? I mean, as many as you can afford, Phil, to be honest. That's a hard one to say because everyone's different. As many as you can afford, as many as you can afford to run. So how to make final expense Facebook ads. So I'm going to put the link in this video here. I hate posting links, but I know I'm going to do it. So that link to that video right there is my video on how to make final expense Facebook ads. And then this next video here is one you're going to watch. This is how you create a landing page to make inbound calls for final expense. And then this is just 5 things you want to know when making final expense Facebook ads. Okay. So those are some other good links there. Do I have a training on FB ads? So Lillian, you can check those out. If you have any other specific questions, then by all means, just reach out to me, and I can get you, whatever I can, help. If you want to do one-on-one consultations and consulting, then you can reach out to me. But I literally have everything that you'll need to know to get it set up right there. Some people still choose to reach out to me and ask me some questions. Totally cool. You can ask me some email questions. That's fine too. Okay, ask me anything you want in email. Yeah, I appreciate that, Lillian. And then also too, yeah, so lead sources is huge. Our agents are a little spoiled here because they have an unlimited amount of leads to call, literally like unlimited amount of live transfers and telemarketing leads to call out to, and internet leads. Our commission level is lower, obviously, for each agent because of the amount of leads that are provided and everything else. So it's a trade-off, but it's yeah, it's little less of a challenge to hit 20K than it would be like if you're on your own, because you don't have to do all the organizational stuff. But I know people who do it on their own that are independent and make it happen. So cool, sweet. Well, anybody else have any questions for me? Because I am about to end this. All right, if you have any other questions, guys, please just email me, jve@thejbe.com, and I'm going to give you a little email, little thing here. I'm putting my cell phone in the chat too, so you can always send me a text message. That's fine. Yeah, face-to-face coming from telesales, Bryant, you're just going to want to set a ton of appointments. So what I would do, Bryant, is set a bunch of appointments and then organize them in a route. Or if you're just door knocking leads, get an app like Road Warrior where you can upload all the addresses in and it'll give you the shortest distance between all the leads, and just go knock on doors all day. You want to have specific dial times. So like dial times on weekends, and like whatever days you pick, you can pick certain days. Some people like Fridays, some people like weekends. I know a guy who used to have dial days on Saturdays and Wednesdays. Those are his dial days. So, or Sundays and Wednesdays, I think it was. Everybody has different dial times. I'd ask some people at your IMO now, like what they like for dial times and dial days. But I would just same thing, bro. Massive level of activity of that. That's really what I would do. Just massive activity levels. One more question. What targeting do you recommend on FB ads? Yeah, Joe. So if you watch my video, you're gonna see that I just recommend like general targeting and let Facebook figure out the rest. Okay, I let Facebook figure out the rest there. So yeah, Bryant, for sure, man. Just massive activity level. Find your groove. Do I have a video on my schedule for telesales? Let me see here. No, I have a video on scheduling a video on scheduling that's in like my telesales course. But let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. Schedule. Uh, uh, yep. I have a video here on how to create a schedule and goals. So if you check that video I just put there in the link, that's also how to correctly set and accomplish goals as a life insurance agent. That video is, yeah, see that. Yeah, Lillian just sent me an email. That's cool. Thank you, Lillian. Joe, landing page. Definitely landing page. 100% landing page. Landing page over a Facebook lead form. Oh, and if you want, just watch my video, how to generate inbound calls. So I put a bunch of links in the video here. You're gonna see, you're gonna want the one for generating inbound calls. That'll tell you how to set up the landing page. But all right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.